Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. It really means a lot to me. This one, I want to share something really quickly with you guys, and I will share the link to the editable Harada template underneath. But the other day, I did a video and I talked a little bit about grit, and it made me want to go further. But essentially, somebody shared this about Shohei Ohtani, like when he was in the ninth grade. So he made this is a Japanese Harada template, which I actually just learned about it because of Twitter or X. But his goal here in the middle, in the yellow, was to get drafted first overall. And then he put his 8 pillars around here: body, mental toughness, personality, karma, pitch variance, speed 100, sharpness, control. And I decided to do something similar for site owners. So here I am with a site owner. Like, let's say you want to be a site owner, right? Um, and I'm going to share a copy of this underneath. I didn't make this Harada template, so I'm going to share a link to the blank template so you can make it however you want. But these are the 8 pillars I think you need in order to be a successful site owner. Now, you may disagree and you may change something, and that's fine. And you may use this for not being a site owner. You might use this for becoming a CRA or whatever you want your goals are short term. And so the cool thing about this is like you can decide, choose your own adventure, but I'm going to kind of go with mine. And I honestly haven't thought through the daily habits yet, so we're gonna kind of do this live on this video. And I may change my mind later on. The point is not that you take this and you just implement what I'm saying. Although I have put some thought into these 8 pillars for quite some time. The daily habits, I'm just gonna kind of freestyle them, and it'll be interesting to see what other people think. So, site owner, the first one is pain tolerance. So, if you go here to pain tolerance, what are some daily habits you can do to get better at pain tolerance? So, if you're a first time or you've never been a business owner, you need to get used to rejection. And that's, in my opinion, you need to get used to rejection. So how do you get used to rejection? Well, you got to do things that are uncomfortable and are likely, people are likely to say no. So this is really good. Like, you don't even need to be a site owner yet to start talking to sponsors about, hey, I'm thinking about starting a site. Would you be interested in giving me studies? And you can already start doing this. You can go on LinkedIn and find medical science liaisons in your area. So let's just start with that. Medical science liaison. Now, yeah, they typically want to talk to you if you have a doctor already, but if you don't, you can just get used. The point right now is pain tolerance. Now, the ironic thing is, you're going to be doing this as well when you do get a PI, and that is the 8th pillar. You can't start a site without a PI. So you're going to be talking to MSLs when you get a PI too, after you get a PI. So your new goal, once you have become a site owner, this goal is to be a site owner, right? Let's say you accomplish that. You turn the page to the next chapter in your book. Now it's become a successful site owner. And maybe I'll do another video on that one with the Harada template of like the goals for becoming a successful site owner. And the cool thing is you can do this for anything in your life. So anyways, let's just go through this. Pain tolerance. Get used to being rejected. So, talk to 100 doctors, although this, I would probably put that one here, but you can double up. So that one you're gonna get to, let's say, 5 physicians a day, or attempt to talk to 5 physicians a day, whether in person, by a phone, by a Zoom, whatever. You're building up your pain tolerance. Another one is, and this is probably related to a lot of these I like because there's going to be some overlap. If we look at Shohei's, There's no overlap. As far as I'm aware, there is some because he talks about stamina, flexibility, body care, and then he talks about like thrive on adversity, and then persistence, which those two things are kind of similar. So there is some overlap on these things. So it's okay to have overlap. The important part is to get you thinking about how to do it. So talk to five physicians a day, then maybe get familiar. So that's going to be, I'm going to put that one here. And the ones that are overlap, I'm going to put in the other grids as well. MSL, reach out to MSLs. So this one's, um, actually, this one is a good way to get PIs as well because you can reach out to MSLs in order for them to help you find PIs. What's another one? Talk to sponsors. Talk to sponsors. That's different from the MSL. That means going on LinkedIn and talking to actual sponsors. Then, in order to talk intelligently with them, ideally, maybe you want to go to conferences in that case. You want to start reading, especially if you don't understand science. Okay, if you don't understand science well, read PubMed articles every day and force yourself to learn science. It is going to be helpful to have better communicate, more sophisticated communications with your PIs and to have more sophisticated communications with sponsors when you do end up having a site. So that's good. What are some other ways to have pain tolerance? Maybe public speaking. If you're afraid of public speaking, maybe start doing more public speaking. Pain tolerance for me to develop your resiliency, maybe post more on social media, especially on LinkedIn. Like put yourself out there. There's no way to be a successful site owner without with while being shy. Like I think if you're an introvert, you're gonna have to get over being an introvert. And yeah, you can still be like majority introvert. That's fine, but you need some extrovert muscles in your body. And if they're weak, you need to start figuring out ways to make them stronger. This is all to develop your pain tolerance. I'll come back to more pain tolerance stuff here. Maybe things will come to me as I fill out other squares. Now, grit is basically perseverance and passion. So, to develop grit, it's kind of related to pain tolerance, but it's a little bit different because you have to like start things that are related to being a site owner, but maybe not yet, because this is remember to become a site owner. So I would start a podcast. And again, this is just me. You fill out your thing how you want. Start a clinical research podcast. And if you don't know anything about clinical research, be honest. Document the journey. I want to get more interested. Why? And then start telling your story. And this probably gonna help you with your pain tolerance too, because you're gonna get critics and all that stuff. So that one's one that's gonna be there as well. Another one that's grit is perseverance. So maybe I would just start working out. Working out is gonna develop grit and keep getting better and better. So cardio, lifting, it's going to help your overall health as well. So develop grit. I would say develop mental toughness. So meditate every morning or once a day. Um, to me, I used to think meditation was nonsense. It's actually really good. And I mean, just to fill this thing out quicker, because I'm literally doing it on the fly. The eight fundamentals I have had in my head for quite some time, but the little day-to-day habits, they can change. They could be more than eight, and you can always change them. So what else for grit? Let's go to money agnostic, and I'll come back with more grit stuff later. Build a savings account. So if you don't have a savings account, build one. You need a cash cushion to start a site. You can't be dependent on making money right away on the site. Money agnostic, start a side hustle maybe or a side gig, ideally related to research, but maybe something else. Um, money agnostic. Uh, I would start investing. Like if you have multiple streams of revenue, you become less desperate for money in the businesses that may struggle. So I know this has been the case for me. I've since the beginning of my clinical research career, really, I was fortunate enough to read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I started investing in real estate very early. So I always know that even if my sites fail, I'm okay because I have real estate, and even if I can't go paid for like a couple months, I have a savings and I have another stream of revenue when it comes to rental income, and I can always sell a house or something like that. So maybe get some investments. It doesn't have to be real estate, but investments like real estate or stock or crypto, but do your own due diligence. I started doing biotech stuff on this channel, but don't follow what I say. Do your own due diligence. Money agnostic, what else? Talk to your significant other if you have one. Uh, about, hey, maybe we need to, be on the same page financially. Maybe we need to start saving more. It's very important to talk to your significant other. Um, my wife helps me with all my businesses. She helps me with the Airbnb. She helps me with the human resources. So it's very important to have a supporting partner. Um, what else? Another one just came to me about money agnostic. It will come back. Okay, adaptability. How to and vision. Vision. One of the things you can do is meditate. One of the things you can do is read. And don't read things necessarily like how-to books. One of the things that really have helped my vision early on in my career, I read like how-to books, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, like how to start a business, how to start an LLC. Those are important, but if you want to develop your vision, you need to read, like, in my opinion, philosophy or history or books, even science fiction. Those are things I like. Something that's not a how-to, something that's more open-ended or like reading just for the sake of reading, not for getting anything out of it necessarily, and then try to find like your interest because that's going to help your vision. And if you don't like a book when you buy it, like if you buy one and you don't like it, don't finish it. There's no rule that says you have to finish the books you start. Pick up something else. As you start figuring out, this is how I got into philosophy. I never thought I liked philosophy. And then I read because I was into investing in this quadrant here, and then somebody recommended Poor Charlie's Almanac. So I started reading that. Then I got really into that. Then I started looking into what are mental models because that's Charlie Munger's entire thing is he creates these frameworks of mental models, which are, by the way, part of his vision, his long-term vision. And then I realized those are just philosophy. Like when I started looking up what are mental models, those are essentially philosophy. So then I got into philosophy and I love it. So it's helped with my vision long term. Have other kind of hobbies. And because you never know, like cultivate your interests that way. And we'll come back to this. Industry know-how is going to be an easy one to figure out. If you don't know anything about clinical research, you need to. So maybe get a job as a CRC or at a site as an assistant, admin, or whatever. Um, Go to conferences. Go to SOS is the most affordable and the best one, honestly, for site owners, in my opinion. Even the local meetups are free if you can find one, the regional meetups in your area. Um, get involved with networking. So not just SOS, but Latinos in Clinical Research has monthly live streams on LinkedIn. So does SOS. So do other people in the industry like Brad Hightower, Jess Thompson. There's a lot of people that actually go live specifically on LinkedIn. So you can do like networking and get some industry know-how from your own comfort of your own home. Get my book, Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research. So get research books. Um, Watch my 5 hour video. That's an easy one. Get a job as a CRC admin. If you think you're not gonna be able, if you still gonna do all this stuff, but you're like, you know what? I still want to have when I'm ready. to have a CRC ready to come work with me, then that's part of, I would probably put that, uh, I don't know, that would be under networking, like more of the infrastructure, but you should get to know some coordinators. So that'll be part of your networking. More of the industry know-how, definitely get good clinical practice certification. It's free. You're going to need an IATA certificate. And then you're going to need to start thinking about your SOPs. So even though you don't have a site, start thinking about ways that you can already start to formulate your SOPs. You can ask an AI, but the best way is through networking. And just go one by one, talk to site owners. Hey, what kind of things do you put in your SOP? What's your table of contents? Do you mind sharing it with me? I mean, if you need help where to start, I'm happy to help you in regards to that. Infrastructure, you're going to need to figure out when I get a PI, there's a chance that he or she may or may not have enough office space that I can use. So I might need to start looking at office spaces in my area because you need a site. There's no such thing as a virtual site. You're going to need a site. You're going to need to start thinking about your tech stack. So what does your tech stack look like? So Creo, Patient Ace, Inato for when your PI does get some experience. Those are the infrastructure. What else? You're going to need a payroll. So you're going to need to figure out the payroll. Gusto is what I use. You're going to need to get your LLC or your corporation set up. So you're going to need that. You're gonna need a name and a logo and all that stuff. You're gonna need a website, and you're gonna need what else you're gonna need here as far as your infrastructure? Really, that's it. I mean, the bare bones list of equipment that you need, but I wouldn't equipment that you need. I have a thing on my website where it shows you like a site tour of like the bare bones minimum of what you need. But you'll know more of what you do need and what you don't need as far as medical equipment when you actually get a PI. All right. And then one more thing as infrastructure, we'll come back to it. Now, what did I skip here? Adaptability, how to be adaptable. So meditate, I would put here. You have to be okay with failure. And the best way to figure out how to be adaptable, honestly, is to start a podcast or a YouTube channel of some sort. Why not do both? Because you can just record one thing and then put the audio on a podcast and figure out how to do it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it on this show. Part of being adaptable is being resourceful and figuring out how to do things. Start incorporating AI in your personal life. Start using AI. AI is going to tell you. I just ask the AI, don't ask me. How do I start a podcast? What specifically do I need? What tools do I go to? All that stuff. That's part of being adaptable, is figuring things out for yourself, being resourceful. That's also part of grit, uh, is is being resourceful. So using AI is a one way to get a head start on being resourceful. Um, Adaptability also would be figuring out ways to monetize like a side hustle, which I already put here under money agnostic, but side gig, I think it's important to have additional revenue streams. And then we're gonna get to the other stuff. If I don't fill this whole thing out, I don't want this video to go on forever while I'm thinking. But hopefully you get the gist. So now get a PI. Talk to 5 physicians a day, medical science, medical science liaison. Um, Probably actually adaptability is come up with 3 good ideas a day. James Altucher taught me this. 3 good ideas a day. Just brainstorm 3 good ideas a day. Probably good for grit too. Although on grit, it would be the best idea from the week, try to figure it out. So, best idea of week, build a business plan. And that's adaptability as well. Those kind of related in that sense. Okay, get a PI. Talk to 5 physicians a day. Talk to your medical science liaisons. Go to therapeutic area conferences. So like Digestive Disease Weekly has one, ASCO if you're looking for oncologist, NC for psychiatrists. Um, this is where reading the medical journals is going to help when you actually start talking to them. And matter of fact, some of the ones that publish the articles, make sure they have a MD after their name and not PhD. You might want to reach out to them. You'd be surprised how simple it is to reach out to some of these docs. Now, if they're in academia, maybe skip them. They tend not to reply, and you're not going to be able to work with them anyways. But maybe they have colleagues that they could connect you with. So, and notice these are all like relatively free ways. I mean, go to the conference is probably the only one that costs money. Go to SOS. SOS. Literally at the last SOS I was at in Oklahoma City, there were physicians there because in the lobby I was talking to one and I introduced him to Lee Eifler because I'm a good friend of Lee. But there's PIs there. There's physicians there that wanted to start sites. So go to SOS. I'm gonna put here again. Um, what else? Talk to five physicians a day in person. Um, LinkedIn, LinkedIn message five PIs a day in your surrounding areas, in your area. That's how I got my first PI in Yuma. Um, my first PI, the PI I'm working with in Yuma was actually my second PI. The first one I found through email blast. The second one that I actually ended up working with, and he's still my business partner, Dr. Smith, it was through LinkedIn. LinkedIn message 5 PI in your area. Talk to physicians a day, medical science liaisons, or sales reps, I would put. Well, maybe that one is separate. Sales reps. They'll talk to you. Hey, I'm looking for doctors in your area. And then did I say LinkedIn already? I don't want to waste your time, but this one I feel like is probably the most important. LinkedIn message. Maybe run an ad on Craigslist, on Indeed or Craigslist. You'll get some doctors, but you might get ones with like shady licenses, like licenses with disciplinary actions. But it's still this actually you're gonna build resiliency here as well. It's gonna overlap because I've done this and then I've seen like, okay, I'm getting a lot of foreign trained physicians. They're not really MDs in the US, but hey, that actually checks off a daily task for um networking, like figuring out who's gonna work for me and stuff, right? Which is part of like, well, let's take out this one because it feels like we're cheating. So let's put that in the same box and then let's uh, work on your SOP, talk to potential employees, potential employees. And then there's another one here. I think the industry know-how, like watch this 5 hour video because it's like kind of cheap to put it in a separate box. Like this is just basically follow my shit. Okay, I'm gonna put that here. Follow guru shit. And then here I'm gonna put every day get on LinkedIn and read posts. Read posts about the industry specifically, not about science here, about clinical research, like the nitty-gritty, like follow people like Brad Hightower, like myself, like Jess Thompson, like Chris Sauber, like Judy Galindo, like Ashley Margot, like Monica Quitiva. Do that. And so this is it. I hope, I know I didn't fill out everything, but I'm not going to sit here and like brainstorm what's happening in my life. But I'm going to use these Harada templates in the future and a lot more. But I just wanted to share it with you. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye bye.